Bred to Win, brought to you by Inglis Digital, the tried, trusted and reliable market for online sales.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to another jam-packed edition of Bred to Win. Coming up on this week's show, the bloodstock background to the weekend's big winners on George Main and Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes Days in Sydney and Melbourne. We bring you Royal Ascot star sprinter Hello Youmzain at Cambridge Stud in New Zealand, attracting plenty of interest from Australian breeders too. And Arrowfield Stud's popular nominations manager Sal Gordon in Arrowfield's Horse Who Made You Love Racing. That's all coming up, and we start with the Aushorse news of the week with another big spring weekend of Group 1 racing in Australia and New Zealand. Inglis has pushed back the 2021 Ready to Race sale by 2 weeks to cater for the ongoing COVID uncertainty about buyers being able to attend the Riverside Complex at Warwick Farm in Sydney. The sale will now be held on Tuesday, October 26 and offers 2-year-olds by new Group 1 winning stallions such as Russian Revolution and Merchant Navy, Invader, Almanzor, Pariah and more. We'll have more on the sale with Harry Bailey in next week's show. In sale results, the Inglis early September online sale was topped by Magnus mare Newsgirl, who was bought for $375,000 by Victoria's Two Bays Farm. The sale again topping $5 million in trade. The individual sale of Jim Crack and Lightfinger Stakes winner Every Rose was also a huge success for Derby Racing. The mare by Schwazier sold for $1.3 million to Suman Hedge Bloodstock, and she'll visit champion Australian stallion Written Tycoon this season.
Sovereign Award, every poster winner.
And this week there'll be another individual sale of 3-time group winner Sovereign Award, who'll be offered on the Inglis digital platform, with bidding to be held from Wednesday 22nd of September, with bidding closing from 4 p.m. on Thursday the 23rd. The daughter of Seamus Award won the Matron Stakes in March, having previously been successful in the Ladies' Day Vase and Tessio Stakes.
Verry Elleegant, she's starting a motor now. Riodini being tackled by Verry Elleegant.
The toughness, turn of foot and desire to win were all in evidence in Verry Elleegant's success in Saturday's George Main Stakes at Randwick. The mare had to pull out all stops to get past the determined Riodini to add to her Group 1 honour roll. Last year's Caulfield Cup winner beat a field full of Group 1 winners and performers, again showing she was the best horse in the race on the big stage. From the Dan Road mare Opulence, whose third dam is Cottahealy House, dam of Danewin and Commands, Verry Elleegant is a fascinating pedigree, featuring a double cross of not only Cottahealy House herself, but her breed-shaping dam 8 Carat. Her sire, Zed, stands at Grange William Stud in New Zealand and is a son of champion sire Zabeel and Group 1 winning mare Emerald Dream. Zed also carries Cottahealy House as his third dam. Her mother, 8 Carat, is one of Australasian breeding's greatest influences, as dam of Octagonal, Moorwad, Marquise, Carpstad and Diamond Lover, and their Group 1 winning descendants, many of whom have the same almost black coat of the now 9-time Group 1 winner Verry Elleegant, who has this year's WS Cox Plate as her main spring target.
Nature Strip just in front. Eduardo's lifting the outside.
The Group 2 Shorts is now a major lead-up to the Tab Everest, with 6 of the runners already holding a place in this year's $15 million event. Eduardo sports the same diminutive frame as many of his sire line, including his late father Host and his influential sire Hassaneh, but he's been an elite sprinter from early in his career. Eduardo's record now stands at 22 starts for 9 wins and 7 minor placings, many of those in Group 1 and 2 company. He was bred by part owner Jane Kaufman, and his dam Blushing by Fantastic Light is a granddaughter of group winner Peggy Ann. Her dam, Avon Angel, was a star of her generation, winning the equivalent of the Coolmore Classic and 4 other group races.
4 moves ahead is surging now on the outside.
It was an Arrowfield stud sire Quinella in the T-Rose Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies, with Schnitzel's 4 moves ahead. A 2-year-old winner of the Sweet Embrace Stakes, too strong for the Arrowfield bred and raced Mallory by not a single doubt. 4 moves ahead was bred and is now raced by Jonathan Munns after being passed in at the Magic Millions by Beamer Thoroughbreds with a reserve of $300,000. She's a half-sister to Emeralds, while her dam, Dulmira, is a half-sister to French Group 1 winner Dalcala from the Aga Khan's D family of Daylami, Dalakani and Dalgar. Schnitzel leads the Australian General Sires list currently with earnings of just over $2 million, ahead of Vinery studs All Too Hard, I Am Invincible, Savabeel and Deepfield. Fellow Arrowfield sire Dundeel also tasted group success at Randwick, with She's Ideal taking out the Group 3 Kingston Town Stakes. She hails from the Copperama family of star fillies such as Faint Perfume and Denendry. Dundeel now has 15 stakes winners and stands this season at Arrowfield at a fee of $66,000.
Heresy takes the lead. Bonza Pearl is the thread.
Valness Studs underrated Bonhoeffer has another star performer with the win of Bonza Perla in the 1,000 Guineas Prelude at Caulfield. Bred and raced by Ken King Thoroughbreds, the filly's dam Treasure Island is by Duporth, while her 19-year-old sire Bonhoeffer is available to mare owners in 2021 by application after standing last season at $5,500.
It's Prime Star in front narrowly. From a Tissue is inch by inch getting there.
The Zabeel influence continued as Savabeel had another successful day on the track through his offspring, including a Tissue in the Group 3 Bill Ritchie handicap at Randwick, with 2 other winners on the day by the champion New Zealand sire High Supremacy and Kiss the Bride. A Tissue featured in our NZB yearling sale preview in 2019, sold by Waikato Stud to Go Racing for $260,000. Her dam Posey is a full sister to champion filly Daffodil. Go Racing also had the stakes winner Art de Triomphe take out the listed Canterbury Bell Stakes at Riccarton in New Zealand. It was the first stakes winner for Vadamos, a son of German sire sensation Monsun. Vadamos stands this season, a ritual stud in New Zealand, at a fee of $12,500 New Zealand plus GST.
Lightsaber just in front of Military Expert and Brigantine.
The Inglis Graduate of the Week was another success for the upcoming ready-to-race sale, with the eye-catching Lightsaber Too Strong in the Caulfield Guineas Prelude. The Sire's Produce Stakes winner at 2, a son of Zoostar, he was sold for $80,000 through the Inglis Classic sale before JCS Thoroughbreds sold him to Blueblood Thoroughbreds for $100,000 at last year's ready-to-race sale. Lightsabers from the Dream Ahead mare Dream Cirque, his third dam Cirque du Soleil, a full sister to hugely influential stallion Fastnet Rock. Zoostar stands this season at Widden Stud in New South Wales at a fee of $154,000, with his star filly Zuzarella also on track for the fillies 1,000 guineas.
But he's often gone Call Sign Mav.
The Inglis Digital sale had another Group 1 winner too, with Call Sign Mav's victory in Saturday's Tarzino Trophy in New Zealand. 36% of the son of the late Atlante was sold through the early October online sale last year and was bought by Nelson Thoroughbreds for $85,000. It was back-to-back Tarzino wins for the grandson of Fastnet Rock, and Call Sign Mav is now expected to head to Australia to run in the Cox Plate. Time for a break. On Bred to Win, coming up, the Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week and the highly accomplished new sprinter at Cambridge, Hello Youmzain.
Bred to Win, supported by Prized Icon, a Group 1 winner at 2 and Derby winner of over $2 million, standing at Coringal Stud in 2021.
Sierra Sue running on, dice roll in front.
While it may not have been Probabile's day in the Group 1 Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes at Caulfield, it was still the Cambridge Stud performance of the week, as the first 3 place getters were all by New Zealand-based stallions. The winner, Sierra Sue, is by the Oak Stud's regally bred Darcy Brahma, runner-up Dice Roll, while French Bred is by Showcasing, who spent several seasons at Haunui Farm. And third placed I'm Thunderstruck is by Richhill Stud's Melbourne Cup winner Shocking. Sierra Sue was sold for just $2,000 through the Karaka May sale as a 2-year-old, and she's from the Centane mare's Sentry, who's had 5 winners from 6 foals to race. Darcy Brahma was a 5-time Group 1 winner himself, and Sierra Sue is the 12th Group 1 winner by the son of Dane Hill and champion filly Grand Eschazo. He stands the 2021 season at the Oaks in New Zealand at a fee of $15,000 New Zealand dollars plus GST. The gold and black checked silks of Cambridge studs Brendan and Joe Lindsay, based on the Wellington Rugby Club in New Zealand, are now well known around the world. The recent deeds of Probabile and Zuzarella in Australia, and Hello Youmzain in winning the Diamond Jubilee Stakes at the famous Royal Ascot meeting in the UK, are part of a stellar year for Cambridge. And Hello Youmzain has now taken up duties in his first stud season in 2021.
Dream of Dreams flashing home. Hello Youmzain and Dream of Dreams.
The Tin Man is beginning to close on the far side, but it's Hello Youmzain who holds on to win the Betfair Sprint Cup.
Well, Scott, it's already been a wonderful spring for Cambridge Stud in New Zealand, in particular here in Australia, with the great performances by Probabile and Zuzarella.
Yeah, it's a great time of year, the spring. Everyone's dreaming with foals arriving. You think they're going to be champions, and obviously young horses coming through the ranks, you think they're all going to win Group 1s, but particularly with Zuzarella and Probabile, there's a lot to be excited about.
Tell me what it's like watching from afar. I mean, obviously New Zealand's been in lockdown as well. You know, it means a lot to everybody on the farm, doesn't it, to see those great results in the big Australian races?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, I think. As you know, on all farms, there's a lot of hard work that goes in behind the scenes, and the same in the racing stables to get to that point. And when it all comes off, it's a hugely satisfying thing. And I guess more so lately with, you know, lockdowns and things going on, I think it provides a little bit of, I suppose, puts a smile on everyone's face when they're stuck at home on the couch. It's, yeah, the Australian racing's been a bit of a saving grace for a lot of people, I think, who haven't been able to do much else.
Well, also hugely exciting to welcome back Al Manzoor, but I tell you what, Hello Youmzain, of course your first season sire in 2021, it feels as if we've been waiting, well we have been for years really, but it's so great to see him arrive safe and sound in New Zealand.
Yeah, you're right, it does feel like a bit of a long wait. It seems a while ago now that he won the Diamond Jubilee at Royal Ascot, and we've been waiting to get him down here. Brendan was the only person that had seen him up until a few weeks ago, so yeah, it's certainly hasn't disappointed, and it's been great to have him here and settled in. And I think when everyone does get the chance to come and see him, they're going to be hugely impressed by him.
So what do you see now? As you say, you've all had your eyes filled with Hello Youmzain. What do you see in him? You know, when you've seen him arrive, you've seen him relaxing in his paddock. What's he like as a stallion? Yeah,
he is a real eye-catching horse, actually. Like he's built in the mould of a sprinter, so he's got that really masculine look about him, a lot of strength, and probably maybe not so much typical for a sprinter. When he moves, he walks so well, and he's a really athletic horse. So that's hopefully something, you know, he'll pass on to his foals. But he's kind of as advertised in the photos and the videos we'd seen. But you know, until you lay your own eyes on them, it's good to see them for yourself. And yeah, he's just, I think, everything we could have hoped for, and he's going to really add another, I suppose, more early maturing, muscular type to our stallion roster.
Hello Youmzain deep inside the furlong, still has the advantage.
Well, of course, it is a while since he won that Haydock Sprint Cup and really put himself on the map as a Group 1 winning sprinter. Tell me about his race record, because, that's what we're looking for here in Australia in particular. And the sprinting categories seem to be matching up a lot more these days. In Europe, the sprinters really are of such a high calibre these days.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really like about his race record is that he was able to do it over 3 consecutive seasons. He wasn't one of those horses that just had one peak and that was it. He came out early, he was an early 2-year-old, went on to win a Group 2 at France at the end of his 2-year-old year. He came back again at 3 and did it at Royal Ascot, firstly placing in the Commonwealth Cup, then beating older horses in the Haydock Sprint Cup. And that's when we got involved with him, and it's, I suppose, always a bit nerve-wracking to keep a horse like him in training as a 4-year-old, but he was able to carry on that form and I guess go even one better, winning the Diamond Jubilee. So he showed that toughness, he had a great attitude, he was obviously a very sound horse. So, those are the kind of things that I think breeders want to pass on to the progeny that they breed.
Skeptical and Hello Youmzain fighting it out.
And we know, of course, that the great record Henry Plumtree has in selecting these horses. I mean, you look at horses such as Zuzarella and so many more before that. And this horse to go on and win that Diamond Jubilee, once Cambridge Stud was in the ownership, I mean, that was just extraordinary for the entire farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hugely significant thing. I think the Royal Ascot would be as big a stage as any in the racing world, and to have a horse, in co-ownership with a stud all the way down in New Zealand is a really significant thing for our industry. It was, I think, 2:30 in the morning or something like that, so there was a lot of people sitting up in the middle of the night, yelling at the TV. So of all the things you dream about that, we might be able to achieve at Cambridge Stud, I don't think anyone would have dreamt that we were going to, have a colt winning a premier Group 1 sprint at Royal Ascot, but it's just one of those, great days, and I think it will live long in the memory of everyone here at the farm.
And Hello Youmzain, of course, by Danehill's son Kodiak, who's a 3/4 brother to Invincible Spirit, sire of I Am Invincible. So it all is, it's just perfect for down in Australia. But hasn't Kodiak done a wonderful job up there in the Northern Hemisphere?
His pedigree was something that really appealed to us initially. As you said, Kodiak is a son of Danehill, who we know has been so successful down here. He's a 3/4 brother to Invincible Spirit, so he has some parallels for people in this part of the world, but at the same time, Kodiak's not a horse that's had exposure down here. He's a really well-credentialed horse in his own right. He started at a pretty lowly fee, and he's done it the hard way, and he's done some pretty remarkable things. He broke a world record with 61 2-year-old winners in a season. He had 9 individual stakes winning 2-year-olds last year, and he's been twice crowned European champion 2-year-old sire. So he's a really great influence. He's a influence of speed and precocity, and I think one that will really suit this part of the world. And on top of that, Hello Youmzain's also out of a mare by Charmadale, and of course he's another horse that has had a really good impact in this part of the world. So we felt that the pedigree was really appealing and something that would really suit, Australasia in particular.
And he's obviously had huge support. Both Hello Youmzain and Al Manzour both had the book full sign up. But it is really great to show these horses. I mean, the people that are sending their mares, they want to have a good look at these stallions on the big screen. And also, of course, through the yearling sales that are going to be coming up too, to really see what he looks like and present him here.
Yeah, it's one of those, I guess, anomalies with the shuttle stallion that the book full sign was up before anyone had seen him. But now that he's here, I think no one's going to have any reservations about breeding to him, and it's a shame we couldn't have our normal stallion parade weekend, but with the world we're living in and the technology we've got, you can get a really great feel for these stallions online, and he's a horse you don't have to look at for too long to realise that he is a really good type, and looking forward to his progeny and sales and things like that. If he can reproduce that, then things will be looking really good for the future.
And wonderful seeing Al Manzoor back. I mean, he's furnished out even more. He's always been a stunning-looking stallion by Wotton Bassett, we know, of course, who's now come down to Coolmore in Australia too. And the Ifrage line has done so well. We know Melody Bell's out of an Ifrage mare, but it is just wonderful how Al Manzoor has been going not only through the yearling sales, but also he's even had an early runner there in the 2-year-old ranks in New Zealand.
Yeah, Al Manzoor's just gone from strength to strength, really. He came down here with a really great profile, and it's probably fair to say, you know, Wotton Bassett was pretty unheralded at that stage, but he's just gone through the roof with his reputation. Obviously with Coolmore buying him has been a big thing, and that just really set the scene for the yearling sales. And you know, I don't think anyone here thought it was going to go quite as well as it did. From that first Gold Coast yearling sale, it just one thing led to another, and it was a great sales season for him. And you know, for a New Zealand-based stallion to be the leading first season sire in Australasia, it's quite a significant thing. I wasn't able to find who the last horse to do that was, but I can't imagine it's happened very often. So that's been a massive tick in the box, I guess, and the next step is they've all gone into these great stables, and as you pointed out, he's already had his first runner, which I wouldn't say was an orthodox debut, but he just clearly showed that horse has a lot of talent, and when he irons out, you know, a bit of greenness, if he'd cornered a bit better, I think there's no doubt he would have won that race. So that was exciting, and I guess now we're at that stage where the rubber starts to meet the road, and we'll be really looking forward to seeing more and more of his horses on the racetracks.
And Embellish, your wonderful son of Savabeel, we're really going to see what he's made of in the next year or so.
The signs are really positive for Embellish. I think that third year can be a really good guide to, you know, what's out on the ground, and you know, if a horse is popular in year 3, it's a really good endorsement for the foals that they've left. And Embellish is more popular than ever this year. I think you know, it might surprise a few people when I say that he's probably going to be our busiest stallion this year. So he is such a good value horse. I think he's a great value proposition for the New Zealand industry. He's accessible for anybody, and he opens up that really important Savabeel sire line at a price that is you know, incredible value. So that's obviously been seized on by people this year, and he's been really well supported. So he's another young, well-credentialed horse that the signs are really positive for at the moment.
Johnny Get Angry is pulling clear.
And obviously a lot of people that are at the farm now, you know, still feel so fondly about old Tavistock. He's no longer with us, sadly, but gee, it's just incredible. Week after week I'm seeing in Australia these wonderful Tavistocks, in particular heading for the Fillies and the Colts Classics later on in the spring.
Yeah, we're seeing the benefit of those, I think, better crops that he bred at the end of his stallion career really coming through now, and I think he had 10 stakes winners in Australia last season. So he's hitting his straps like we, you know, all had faith that he would do. And you know, you look at his runners to winners statistics and all those things. He does a really great job in Australia, and he just had another stakes winner as a broodmare sire, so that side of things is starting to kick into gear as well. So it's unfortunate that we don't have more crops coming through. We've got one more yearling crop this year, which will be his last, but we're going to see his influence through his daughters and his sons going forward, and it's, I guess, really rewarding for everyone at the moment to see him doing so well in Australia, because you know, we've been kind of hanging a hat on that happening for the last few years.
So all systems go for a fantastic spring at Cambridge Stud.
Yeah, it's that time of year. The sun's shining again, and everyone's in good spirits, so we'll cross our fingers and hope there's a bit more to look forward to down the line.
While Hello Youmzain isn't sponsored by Cambridge Stud on the G1 Goldmine platform, he's been very popular with mare owners who are members of G1 Goldmine. Looking at stallion match for New Zealand-based sires, there have been 8,300 individual mare searches this year, with 112,000 overall. 22,000 were 2020 matches, an average of nearly 20%. 763 mares were matched with Hello Youmzain, including 3,700 individual stallion match searches, with 30% being 2020 matches, 10% more than the average for all other stallions. Broodmare sires who produced the best matches included Ifrage, High Chaparral, Encosta de Lago, Savabeel, Montjeur, Suyuni, Galileo and Fastnet Rock. Hello Youmzain is a wonderful fast proponent of the Danehill line, and we wish the Cambridge stud team all the best for his offspring on the track. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win, well-known Arrowfield stud Noms manager Sal Gordon talking about a mighty warhorse who made her love racing.
Bred to Win, supported by Hanover Lodge, preparing the elite racehorse. This segment brought to you by Arrowfield Stud, the brand worth its weight in gold.
The horse that made me love racing was the Goree stud owned and Gay Waterhouse trained Desert War. I was fortunate my first job in the thoroughbred industry was working for Goree stud, and in those days they solely bred to race. So it enabled us to get to know the mares and their respective progeny very well, especially the racehorses when they returned to the farm to spell. I worked closely and was very fond of Desert War's mother, High Heels. Fast forward a few years, I then worked for Gay Waterhouse when Desert War was in training. He was a bold front-running style of horse with a high cruising speed, and he just broke his rivals' hearts. He was such a sound, honest horse. He won his first stakes race as a 3-year-old in the Gosford Guineas. He went on to win a further 6 Group 1s as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old and 6-year-old. He won 10 stakes races and he placed in another 11 stakes races, and back then he won in excess of $3 million, which was huge for that time. I've seen Desert War at Goree stud on numerous occasions since his retirement, and he seems to be doing a wonderful job as a nanny to the younger horses. It's a fabulous farm to raise horses, and no doubt he'd be enjoying his retirement and hopefully passing on some of his toughness to the young stock.
He started to shorten the stride. Everything else behind him shortening stride as well, because he had them off the bit for such a long time.
The Great Desert War, still much loved by so many people, and hale and hearty still at Goree Park, having just turned 21. That's all for this week on Bred to Win. Don't miss next week's show as we bring you an exceptional Japanese racehorse and an outstanding looking stallion, Admire Mars, new to Arrowfield Stud this spring. Looking forward to that story. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to also seeing you again next week.
Bred to Win, brought to you by Inglis Digital, the tried, trusted and reliable market for online sales.